Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. New South Wales team is in, and what is happening right there, right now? The Tigers imploding. The Bulldogs have signed Sexton with immediate release. And we're going to look at the NRL previews of the games coming up this weekend. Wow, New South Wales, as I talked about the other day, just coming out. What is happening here? Junior Polo, gone. Jerome Luai, gone. And the list goes on and on and on. Hudson Young, Frizzell, and an absolute carnage of selections. People dropped left, right, and centre, and some people didn't get dropped. What's doing? Well, let's have a look at the team. James Tedesco at fullback. A lot of people said this should be Dylan Edwards. James Tedesco, people were calling for his head, like Rothfield. I'm not 100% sure. I think he can get back to his best. And to say that he retires at 30, that's a bit early for mine. He could possibly be around for the next World Cup. So whether he wants to play that long, I'm not sure. But obviously he's got to rediscover some form. And really needs to get going with that. He's been a little disappointing, obviously, Tedesco, but he is a lot better than what he has been showing the last couple of months. He was in good form earlier in the year, don't forget, so he can easily bounce back. But yes, obviously Dylan Edwards could be there. And I personally would have put Nico Hines there. I think Nico Hines can play fullback easily. Just to give them another attacking threat and attack with Cody Walker, I think it would have been real spectacular having Nico Hines here at fullback, or wasn't to be. Brian To'o and Josh Adokar were pretty much going to be selected. You could have picked other people. I personally think Alex Johnson could have possibly been a replacement for what he's been doing. He's been in very good form. But it was never going to happen. Crichton and obviously Bradman Best, absolute unbelievable how they got over the line. But Bradman Best definitely can bring some attacking flair, so that's what New South Wales are hoping for, but I hope he can defend, because him and Adokar on the one side could be leading to disaster. Cody Walker, big in. Question marks why wasn't in the game 2, not game 3. Well, obviously game 1 as well, but yeah, to me, a little bit too late. Mitchell Moses, obviously, he gets his spot. He could have gone a different way, could have gone for Reynolds, could have put Hines in there as well, so there's a few issues there. But the forward pack for New South Wales, they were selected as a good forward pack, and that's no doubt about it. Very, very good with Campbell Gillard and Jake Trbojevic, the forwards. Damien Cook, if he starts. Then Liam Murray, Colin Matangi, and Liam Martin. Obviously, Colin Matangi was injured, but Liam Martin and Cameron Murray should have been starting from the start of the series. I know Liam Murray had a bit of injuries concerns, and so did Cameron Murray, but they had to be starting for mine. Isaiah Yeo on the bench, interesting. Not sure if that would have been who I would have went for. I think you need a Clemmer. I think if you were going to pick someone to really make a change in the forward pack, Clemmer would have been your man. But Isaiah Yeo can cover quite a few positions. So can Reece Robson, Clint Gufferson. I'm scratching my head on that one. It's just like picking Nico Hines. So why wasn't Nico Hines all picked in front of Gufferson? So, yeah, interesting. Obviously, Jacob Saifidi back in the team. Good on him. But you wouldn't say he was knocking down the grandstand to get into the team. So a few itchy heads there of who they picked and who they've left out. But obviously, for me, Matt Burton was the biggest. Outside of Hines, Matt Burton was the absolute devastating. Should have been in. Don't know what's doing there. He should have been. I think him with Adokar sounds like a better defensively, and I think you would have seen something as extraordinary with those two next to self from the Australian game. If you watch the Australian game when they played together, boom, would have been interesting. But it's not the way it went. Let's look at the Tigers. Yes, the mighty Tigers. Or are they the Kit Kats, the kittens of football at the moment, unfortunately? What is doing in Tiger Town? Same old results is even worse. So obviously Mitchell Maguire wasn't the problem. The whole shebang. There's a big cultural thing that needs to change there, and it starts with probably the top. They need to look at a new direction for CEO. doubt that's going to happen. But when that happens, then you'll see the turnaround of the Tigers for me. They need to get someone in there who's shrewd, knows what he's doing, can make the business work, and let the people on the field do what they do best and control the footy team. They need something to go there. Scott Fulton and Benji Marshall need to get down and talk to each other and say, hey, let's get on the same page and let's get going, because from what I've heard, he's a very, very good recruitment player, recruitment manager. That's what the West Tigers need. They need someone who can get them the big players. And so far, it hasn't looked too great so far. But we will see in the future here, because they missed out on Schuster and whoever else couldn't keep Luke Brooks. So some issues in Tiger Town. But Jareem Buller's obviously playing very good football. Hopefully he doesn't derail. They got a few young ones coming through the grades, so there are some promising signs. Don't forget about Stefano. He's still a talented player. The forward pack, I'm just not sure what's happening there. It should be on paper very good with Bateman and that there. I don't know. Bateman doesn't seem to be playing that great of football either. I'm not sure. Clemmer, he was playing good, but he's dipped as well. Just a few issues in Tiger Town, but a lot of work to be done. The Bulldogs, they're probably going even worse. I don't know who's going worse. They're both going as bad as each other, to be honest. Toby Sexton in the number 7 is the answer. Well, we'll find out. He's obviously got his chance against the mighty Rabbitohs this week without all their players. So if they can't get it done then, well, the Bulldogs won't probably win much more this season, as I've already predicted. Well, let's get to the preview. Yes. West Tigers versus Sharkies on Thursday Night Football. Well, the Tigers have lost, the draw or whatever. They've got rid of Nofaluma and Aiden out the door, or injured, so they say. And Tommy Talau and Kapoa are back in the team. For the Sharkies, big news, obviously, the return of Tody Rudolph, been on with a long injury layoff. Good to see him back. For Nukin out, so obviously Cameron McInnes comes into the starting squad. But to be honest, this to me looks like the Nico Hines show, and I think the Sharks will get this done. I think the Tigers will play better this week, but they still won't be good enough to beat the Sharkies. But you never know, it could be an absolute turnaround. But Sharks by 18 for me. Next game on Friday night, Dragons versus the Raiders. Paul Turner at fullback, the former Warrior and Titans player. I'm not sure about that. Daniel Russell on debut. Good luck, Daniel. Ben Hunt obviously not there. So with Queensland, the Raiders are similar to last week with Corey Horsburgh out and Hula onto the bench. To me, this looks like another game that should be one-way traffic. And I would say the Raiders are going to get this done quite big time, with Hudson Young having a big game, missing out on Origin. He'll be hungry to really prove them wrong. And Whiten's starting to find the form of old. I think the Raiders by 13 in this one. Eels versus the Warriors. This is a real danger game for both teams. This is a game here for both teams. The loser probably misses the top 4. This is how big it is, with only a few rounds left in the season to come. This is a big game for both teams. The Eels obviously are decimated with players, and the Warriors the same 17, but there is a possibility Sean Johnson will not be playing, and I thought Sean Johnson would be the difference in this game, but if he is out with the birth of a second child, then there's big issues for the Warriors. Who's going to get it done for them? Ronald Falcon looks like he'll be the replacement. Where Parramatta obviously decimated, but they could be even worse decimated. Obviously, Junior Polo comes back in. But no Guffo, no Moses, no Campbell Gillard, and no Dylan Brown for another month. To me, this is going to be a big game for Deja Anasi. Can he get it done with Ryan Madison at 6? Sam Russell's gone to fullback, and Sean Lane returning. That's a big boost. Probably need to run off the bench. I think this game might be closer than what the pundits are thinking here. It's a danger game for the Warriors here. If there's no Sean Johnson, this is going to be... I would say Parramatta could win, but I'm going to say Johnson is there, and they'll win by 6 points. But if Johnson there is going to be... They're going to have to really dig in the Warriors without him. Rabbitohs versus the Bulldogs. No Cody Walker. No Murray, no Cook, no Kalamatangi to Origin, and obviously no Mitchell and Campbell Graham. That should mean the Bulldogs by 13. Wow. Will Toby Sexton be the option to make it by 13? They've dropped Paul Alamanti and Hayes Perham, with Avarillo going to fullback. To me, it just seems like pressure play from Cameron Serralda. He's under big pressure. Signed a 5-year contract, and really he is. I think Trent Barrett might have been doing better than what he was. I don't know. They're just as bad as each other. I'm not saying either coach is better than the other. Just they're going backwards in a big rate or not, so they need something big to happen here. But I don't think it's going to happen here. I think the Rabbitohs, even with all those players out, they still got a good forward pack with Sally on the bench, and then Totola and Thomas Burgess up front. So they've still got some very good players in their team. Michael Cheekamp. So they got a decent forward pack still, and I think they'll get them done by 12 points. Titans and the Dolphins. AJ Brimson, this is a big thing, probably the most selections in any of the Gold Coast teams over the years, the Seagulls, the Chargers. But yes, AJ Brimson, Fafita, Futuweka, and Tino out, so 4 players out. To me, it just looks like they could struggle, but Jacob Alec makes his debut. We're on the other side, Jamin Jolliffe has got some big steps to fill in with Isaac Fasamalima. They're really going to have to dig deep without their 2 big starting props in second row. So big issues there for the Titans there. The Dolphins are without, obviously, Kafusi to the head knock and the hammer. This could be the upset game of the round, but I have stuck with the Titans in this one. Yeah, I've stuck with Titans here in this one. I think they can get it done. And what is a game that must be a big game? So a lot of teams get the bye this week, which will help them on their way to finals football. So it's going to be one of these. This is a big game, though, very big game to me in the seasons for a few of these teams. The Titans, obviously, and Dolphins. The loser is probably, you can say, their season is done for making the top 8. Whoever loses is someone just about. The Warriors, the top 4 finish here for the Warriors and the Eels. So whoever loses this game is a big game. Eels need to win this game, otherwise they're going to have a tough run home, the Eels, so they could miss the 8. Their 4 against helps them, but this is a big game for the Eels. If they can get this one done, they'll be there. Tigers and the Sharkies. Well, Sharks should win big time. Really, it's just Tigers, Bulldogs fighting for the wooden spoon with the Dragons, and they're all playing this week. I don't think any of them will get the win. Could be proved wrong, but we will see. Anyway, that's me from the Barry Charles Footy Show. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you at the next video.